Hi there, I'm Irk, and this is my channel, Get Irked. In this episode, we're going to talk about investing in carbon credits with the iPath Series B Carbon ETN, GRN. The Barclays iPath Series B Carbon ETN is an exchange-traded note, which makes it a little bit more similar to a bond than an exchange-traded fund. But when you're talking about carbon credits, it's a very different product. Along those lines, you need to make sure you realize exactly how volatile these can be. As we go through the pricing action that's happened since my last update, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. First off, we're going to start with a buying plan of what I would do if I didn't already hold a position in GRN. And we'll go over my own position where it's come from since the last update. As you can see, in 2022 alone, GRN has epic sell-offs when it sells off. For example, back during the Ukrainian invasion, it sold off nearly 42% in only 27 days, 18 trading days. And more recently, after Jerome Powell came out and terrified the markets at the end of August, GRN sold off another 34%, again, in only 21 days, 14 trading days. So when we're looking at investing in GRN, it's important to remember that volatility is really there. And if this is too much for most people in terms of how much you can stomach, then this is not the right investment for you. I'm going to start by drawing a Fibonacci retracement from where GRN was before the Ukrainian invasion to its bottom. This provides us with levels of potential resistance that GRN might encounter on its way back up after a sell-off. And from here, I'm going to draw a second Fibonacci retracement from its bottom of 2022 to its recent all-time high up here at $39.10. Whereas the first Fibonacci retracement gives us levels of resistance, this second one gives us levels of support. So if GRN sells off, it might find support at these levels on its way down. And you can see how the price action does reveal different levels of resistance on its way up and support on its way down. However, because this product is so volatile, the levels of support don't necessarily hold. You can see that in GRN's most recent sell-off, it found support right here at the 78.6% retracement, almost to the dot at $25.84 before it bounced above that. And you can see right now it's seeing resistance at this 61.8% retracement at $28.67. Since we are looking at a reduction of more than 26% from its all-time high, I might actually consider starting a position at this point. However, instead of using a 50% allocation, I'd start with a 25% allocation of what I wanted and save the remaining 75% allocation to buy in 10% buys if GRN sells off from that initial starting buy. So I might make my first buy right around the low of this day here at $28.43 or maybe even $28.50. From there, I would go down to this next retracement level here at $25.84. I'd look in the past and I'd see the low of this day and use that as my next buy around $25.92 or around that up to $26.05. From there, I'd go down to the bottom of the 2022 lows, but instead of buying at the direct bottom, I'd use the close of this day here at $22.50 to make my third buy. And from here, it's time to zoom out on the charts and find other levels where we might make additional buys. And you can see, although we have a retracement level down here at $17.64, there's a lot of price action above it. So I'd probably look through these days here and use this low at $20.76 as my next buy. From there, even though you can see that there's a lot of support at these days here, I don't want to buy immediately after my last buy. So I'd actually skip this level of support, go down to this retracement line and see if we can find levels of support, and we do have them here on these days. And I'd probably use the low of this day at $17.51 as my next buy. Since there is such a large gap between our buy here at $17.51 and the next retracement level, I'd actually go up and find levels of support. And you can see this very key pivotal day here at $15.37 would be my next buy. After that, I'd skip these levels of price action here and go down to these days here to find my next buy, probably around here at $12.94. From here, I'd zoom in on the chart, and you can see that we have these weird days where they're just flat lines. And that basically means that there was no price action on those days, that it opened and closed at the exact same price. But that being said, you can see that we've got this low in October of 2020 that might be interesting, and I'd probably use $9.16 as my next buy. At this point, we would have a 95% allocation in GRN, but I'd save that additional 5% just in case we actually saw it break the $9.16 low. If that never ended up happening, then we'd have a 95% allocation. I'd take that 5% cash and apply it to a different investment sometime in the future. From here, let's take a look at my own position in GRN and where it's come from my last update in October of 2021. When we last left off, I had made a buy on October 19th of 2021 at $21.76, which left me with a per share cost of $22.35. From this point, GRN rallied significantly, so while it was reaching all new highs, I decided it was time to start taking profits and lowering my per share cost. I made 3 separate sales, one on December 7th of 2021 at $33.59, which lowered my per share cost 6.67% to $20.86, a second on January 6th of 2022 at $34.98, which lowered my per share cost an additional 1.25% to $20.60, and a third on February 2nd of 2022 at $36.66, lowering my per share cost another 1.5% to $20.29. And it was this point when it sold off dramatically during the Ukrainian invasion. Since GRN's price point was above my per share cost, it meant that any buys I did on the way down would raise my per share cost, so I used very small quantities. I made a buy on March 2nd of 2022 at $26.26, and then I made another buy on March 7th at $22.90, which raised my per share cost a total of 0.79% to $20.45. GRN ended up bottoming at $22.23 in 2022 and rallied significantly from this point. Over the subsequent 6 months, I let GRN's price action tell me where it was going to go, and when it started pushing for new all-time highs, I realized it was time to start taking profits in the position. I made 3 separate sales, one on August 15th at $35.68, another on August 17th at $38.22, and when the market started looking like it was being really frothy, I decided because I had so much profit in this position, it was time to take out my capital. I made my last sale on August 19th at $39 even, which removed all of my capital, which means the entire position costs me nothing at this point. I got incredibly lucky because the all-time high was $39.10, and as you can see, it sold off dramatically the day after that sale. From here, when it comes to my position in GRN, I have no intention of adding any additional funds to it since I've taken all of my capital out. If it does break through to all new all-time highs, I will take additional profits in my position and then use those profits if it rolls over and sells off dramatically again in the future. However, if GRN just continues higher and higher and never sells off, I will only slowly take profits out and just ride with the house's money on this position that cost me absolutely nothing at this point. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.